And hello. Okay, so um, to show how you can use Chat GPT for different programming problems, I can yeah. If you watch this video, you can see some tips on what prompts can be really useful. Chat GPT can do things from like recommending code to even correcting code and writing code for you. So we can go to some of the functionalities that we have found so far. So one thing you can use is really easy to say, have it explain new concepts. So you can say explain in simple terms what Python is used for, and it's gonna explain to you how they use Python, why they use Python. But you can also use this functionality to explain data structures, concepts, recursion. You just type it in, explain in simple terms, or explain it very detailed, and it can give you detailed explanations. Then a different functionality is it can also recommend you sources to further work on. So I have this prompt, recommend beginner tutorials for Python, and it's gonna give you some of the most common ones, most popular ones like Code Academy, saying you should go for YouTube. So that can be useful if you're stuck on a certain thing. Another really good thing is, for example, for programming, it might be really useful to learn programming through projects and personal projects, and this can give you lots of inspiration for it. So here, the prompt is, give me 5 beginner projects to learn how to program in Python. And it can give you some of the popular ones like a simple calculator, a to-do list, rock, paper, scissors game, a hangman game, a simple web scraper. And those are great program tutorials, program projects to learn the language actually. And if you finish those or you didn't like them, you can ask for more because ChatGPT remembers everything that's said in a certain thread. So in this chat or in this thread, it will remember what the topic is about. So you can ask it, for example, give me 5 more, or give me 5 different. And I asked for more original ones, and I gave a weather app that fetches current weather data, a budget tracker, a quiz game, a chatbot, music player, and the budget tracker, yeah, we'll more about that later. Then you can use another functionality of ChatGPT is you can use it to actually create code for you. So, for example, this is the first example, the calculator. I asked it to generate the code for idea 1, the calculator. And it writes to you, it even gives you a copy code so you can immediately paste it in your IDE, and it just usually compiles. And not only that, it adds comments, it makes functions, it adds detailed explanation, and I have a different example what it can do. ChatGPT, you can use it to explain code. So let's say you're using code from the internet, you went to a certain resource and you copied code, and you don't understand what's happening, you're a bit lost, perhaps your name of your variables were really fake, you can put it in, and it's gonna give you an explanation of what's actually happening in text. So yeah, that's pretty useful. And it doesn't only go for simple programming prompts, it can go even in depth, and it can make quite a lot without making mistakes. So for example, I asked for a simple Python program that uses characters to draw a few different shapes on the terminal. And on this computer I don't have any IDE. So after I made the code, I asked it to show me the output of this code, and yes, actually it showed me what the output of the code would look like, and even gave some explanation. And this is really, I don't think the output feature is really useful, but one of the best features it can do is it can fix code. So let's say you have your code already done, and you have like some mistake, it can even been a mistake on how the code is working, let's say you're iterating the wrong way, or like you use the wrong variable, you can copy your code and just say fix this code, rewrite this code to be shorter. Just give any prompt to modify your code, and it's gonna fix the code. So in this example, I took the same code that we used here, the Python program to draw shapes, and I purposely made some mistakes. It's gonna point out, it's gonna show you the fixed code, and it's gonna explain exactly what it changed. So I had I made a typo in the function draw square, so I deleted an I, and I deleted parentheses, and it just fixed it. Okay, and then other very useful feature is, let's say you're already knowledgeable in a language, but you need to go to a different language. You can actually ask Chat GPT to rewrite your code to a different programming language. So here I asked rewrite this code in C, and it adds the library and it rewrites it to a completely different programming language with comments, with functions, explains to you, and it even explains to you the differences in between. Personally, this one is really useful if you already have code and you have to change to something else, or perhaps you're learning a new coding language. It can help you to speed up and see the differences. So it's both really practical but also useful to learn. And now I can show you how ChatGPT can even handle more complex and more creative prompts. It can even add context and etc. So in this example, I asked one of the ideas it gave me, write Python code to create a budget tracker and display it in a custom graphic user interface. And here it goes. It imports a library, it adds the code, indeed without the comments. And once you have code, it remembers what you wrote, and you can, for example, say, add this the functionality of send information to a website. And it keeps just building it up. And it can even go into very niche things as long as you provided enough information, perhaps sample codes or more context. It can go into even more complex code. So here's it writing C code that can be used for the campus protocol communication vehicle, and it's it feels like magic, but it can still compile and add comments and explain what's working. And this is a good example on how context changes what you will see. I said, write C code to create a database for a Dungeons and Dragons character stat system. And here, because it's a model that also knows more about text and other things, it not only creates the code, it also immediately adds the level, strength, dexterity, the Dungeons and Dragons things. It makes into a class. It even makes you a small interface so you can choose how to display it. And here, for this thing, I actually a linked list. I wanted a different data structure, so I could also add skills to the sets. And here, just in normal English, add a linked list and a set of skills. And I gave some examples, fireball, bow and arrow, etc. And it updates the code, and it just keeps building on it. And so this is pretty extensive code, and I wrote this as this prompt because sometimes when your prompt is too complex or it takes too much time to compute, it gives an error or it stops building it. And so what you can ask is, let's say you wrote just something that's too difficult, or your problem was too big, it's gonna be stuck, and sometimes it won't even display the code. So you can just ask it to continue. So then it will continue on and give you the rest of the code and the rest of the information. So I can even show it, continue, and it's gonna keep building on it. And one important tip for when working with this is, let's say you're trying to have a small problem solved by this. Don't copy all of your code. try to search what the problem is, and try to have it either Chat GPT explain to you what you could do to solve the problem, or paste the sample of code, a smaller sample of code, and ask it to fix it. So yeah, here it just continued. So yeah, I think those are some of the most useful skills and functionalities for ChatGPT for programming that I found so far. If I'll find more useful ones, I'll definitely make a follow-up video, and I hope you guys can use it for your own coding problems and projects. Thank you very much. Okay, I can't get to the other side. Oh, I don't know why it was